And thank you to Hayley as well and to the team at Osmine for hosting this session today. Really keen to be here and really excited to talk all things PX4. So let's jump in. In terms of a brief agenda for today, sorry, next slide, please, Hayley. In terms of a really brief agenda for today, I want to introduce everyone to PX4. For those of you who haven't yet come across us in the market, I want to talk about how PX4 has expanded from a tenement management based company to a company that really spans a far reach in the ESG realm. I want to introduce significantly the agreements module and the stakeholder communications module, which will be the primary focus of today's session. And I want to talk about the benefits and the value that our clients are getting from these tools. Thanks, Hayley. So in terms of a little bit about PX4, and apologies for some of the formatting in this presentation, that hasn't liked going to Hayley, unfortunately. But in terms of PX4, PX4 is the third iteration of tenement management software that our team have been involved in. And the whole crux of the system historically has been jurisdictionally specific workflows based on tenement management obligations. We've built systems across the whole of Australia, and we now have international solutions across many African countries and many states of the US. Thanks, Hayley. So historically, PX4 has been, I guess, more focused on the governance side of things, again, with jurisdictionally specific workflows that allow you to demonstrate compliance against your tenement management obligations. All of those workflows that we build are based on the legislation in which you're operating. So it's all about demonstrating governance and compliance against those obligations. And those workflows are very much built by subject matter experts with a really broad approvals and tenement management expertise. Thank you, Hayley. But what I wanted to talk more about today is that, over the last kind of 12 to 18 months, client-driven feedback and client-driven development has identified these two key areas where we see, we've got this tenement being your primary approval and you can't do anything on the ground without that. But that social license to operate is a really critical component to that project getting off the ground. And so we see the agreements and the stakeholder comms modules being a huge step in the right direction for a broader ESG compliance solution. Thanks, Hayley. So in terms of these two modules, our agreements module went live about 12 months ago. And similar to the tenement management solution, it's all about specific and unique workflows that we've built for different types of agreements. So you've got things like your land access agreements, JV obligations, compensation and royalty agreements with stakeholders. And importantly, things like cultural heritage management plans and native title agreements all have their own unique workflows within the system. But the beauty of PX4 is that it allows you to capture information from before the date that you've actually got an agreement signed. So as soon as you know you need to have an agreement with a party on the ground, you can create that agreement within PX4 and start to capture all of the evidence, all of your discussions, and all of your communications from day one. So that kind of allows you to very much see the entirety of that agreement in its context and not just be looking at that agreement at a snapshot in time. But more importantly, that agreement can also be associated with every other entity within PX4. So whenever you're looking at an agreement, you can also see what project is this agreement related to? What tenement am I actually looking at that's associated with this agreement? Who's my landholder? And who's what land parcel are we actually talking about? So you really get to see that agreement in context. And with all those agreements, obviously you can create all of your own actions and follow-ups to ensure that all of your compensation payments and all of your actions are maintained. In terms of our stakeholder communications module, that's all about capturing every stakeholder interaction, again, from day one, so that you've got this really holistic picture of all of your communications with a particular stakeholder. So you imagine a landholder that sits under an exploration license that you've got. From day one, from as soon as you're applying for that exploration license, you can start to record all of your communications with that landholder. And again, a really significant part of this is capturing the human IP. So very rarely do we see the same team operating from an exploration license as it progresses to a mining lease. And so with a different team operating across those different stages of the life cycle, the PX4 stakeholder comms module allows all of those interactions to be captured as they're recorded. So all of that human IP is captured in the system. It also allows you to capture trends and identify trends that are occurring. Have you got a contractor that's constantly leaving the same gate open? Have you got noise complaints always being raised on a Saturday afternoon and things like that? Thanks, Haley. So I've put in just two really quick snapshots, and we're going to blitz through this, but this is just a screen grab out of the PX4 system. And so you can start to see this visual tool that we've developed. And on the left, you can see the various stakeholders to this agreement. And if we jump to the next slide, Haley. Oops, sorry, the other way. Perfect. And here you can see what I'm talking about when I mean things in context. So you can see what tenements have we got that are related to this agreement, what other agreements are related, and what is our landholder and land parcel that this agreement actually relates to. So all of that information is captured in context. Thanks, Haley. And in terms of the benefits and the value of this, as I've kind of touched on that human IP element, and that's a really critical part of it. But we also see, in specific jurisdictions around Australia, the reports that our clients are required to run on stakeholder engagement are able to be generated at the touch of a button within PX4. So select a date range, all my stakeholder interactions for this project, download. It's as simple as that. All those discussions can be captured in the field with our cloud-based system. So instead of sending an email back to HQ or writing a letter to yourself, you can record that conversation directly into PX4. And again, that contextual view ensures that anytime anyone in the organization is looking at an agreement or a stakeholder, you're looking at that agreement or that stakeholder with all of the relevant history as at that date. Thanks, Haley. And in terms of PX4 software with Flare, that's us, and everything that we do here at PX4 makes compliance and your work life easier. So I'd love to grab any questions or speak more about any of the above. And thank you again to Osmine for the opportunity to present.